The new place we rented was a 2-bedroom townhouse miles away in the next city. The subdivision was a collection of townhouses on a round track with an empty field out front and a pond with a covered deck out back. There was a separate subdivision just over the fence to the right of the entrance with individual houses that also curved around and shared the pond out back with us. In addition, they had an access road and wooden bridge to a state park with baseball fields, tennis courts, a playground and an obstacle course that ran through the woods. Our townhouse neighbor worked with my stepdad, so we knew him. We came to know our neighbor in the townhouse to the left and her son who would say hello time to time. Then there was this kid a year or so younger than me who got a basketball hoop. I think I asked if I could shoot around with him and that was how we came to know each other. A lot of the time, I'd just go off on my own and walk to the state park through the subdivision next door. It was nice not having to go from our subdivision all the way up the road around the subdivision next door and down the street to the official entrance. But even so, I figured there had to be a better way than having to walk from the townhouse to the front of the subdivision to the front of the next subdivision and down a quarter mile to the access road and cross the wooden bridge, have my fun, then have to come all the way back home the same way. So I went to the woods to the right of the pond and sure enough, I was able to cut through a backyard and come out right in front of the access road to the state park, saving considerable time and energy that I could put into playing. I'd go to the playground. I'd run the obstacle course and stop at the individual stations and do the exercise listed until I was finished. I'd collect tennis balls and practice throwing. I brought my aluminum bat one time and found a softball that I'd practice my swing on. Then I'd go get it and practice again and again. I brought the bat and ball home, but I knew it wasn't a good idea to practice in that empty field out front, where I was sure to hit some property. I remember it was a hot summer and the basketball kid and I got permission to walk up to the store to buy dollar water guns and balloons. That was fun and I remember hearing that he had a birthday coming up, so these two things together gave me an idea. I saved whatever allowance I could earn for over a month and prior to his birthday, I walked back up to the store on my own and bought him a double-tube Super Soaker which I gave to him on his birthday. Later on, I got to spend the night. We were trying to fall asleep and talking and I remember his mom came and said something. So we tried, but we couldn't fall asleep and were talking to each other again. All of a sudden the door flew open and I saw the kid go from laying down to jump up and standing on top of his bed. The next thing I heard was crack. Crack. As his dad came in, swinging and beat the hell out of him with a belt in the pitch black. I had only seen that once before with the downstairs neighbor and her daughter from the previous apartment complex. I went home and had to ring the bell to get in. My mom came and let me in and I went to sleep without talking about it. Later, I got my own basketball hoop that I could practice on the back patio and then it was moved and mounted against the tree. One day there was an odd amount of kids and we figured we could get a full court game going with my hoop and the basketball kid's hoop, only someone would have to substitute. So we wheeled his hoop to the back area where my hoop was, distanced it far enough to make it full court and picked teams. He and I were on the same team and I agreed that I would sit out part of the game and we would substitute for each other. The game went on for a while and I told him to sub out so I could finish the game, but he kept purposely ignoring me. I could tell the game was almost over and I finally tried to tag out with him, but he jerked his arm away and kept playing the game. I was hurt and went inside. My stepdad came out and told them to take their hoop and go play somewhere else. They did and that was the end of the game. Not long after that, I was walking home one day and I looked in the field. I saw one of the tubes to the double-tube Super Soaker I saved up to give him on his birthday discarded like trash in the empty field in front of the townhouse. That was the end of the friendship. I never spoke to him again and wouldn't wish to.